ఓం ఆనందమయి చైతన్యమయి సత్యమయి పరమే ఇవాళ మనందరము ఇక్కడ శ్రీమాత జన్మదిన వేడుకలు జరుపుకుంటున్నాము. Several of you have spent the day here, and many of you who are here have indicated what a joyful and special occasion it has been today. Each of the darshan days is a day of special descent, is what the Mother and Sri Aurobindo have said. What does it mean to say it is a day of special descent? Basically, the path of integral yoga is the path of sadhana for evolution of our consciousness. మన చైతన్యము ఉన్నత స్థాయిలోకి తీసుకెళ్ళడానికి చేసే ప్రయత్నము సాధన. పూర్ణయోగ మార్గములో మన వ్యక్తిత్వంలో ఉన్న అన్ని అంశాలని అభివృద్ధి వైపుకి నడిపించడం మన సాధన. కాకపోతే మానవుడు సాధారణంగా when he tries to make progress, he struggles against his lower nature. He fights with his lower nature. He wants to conquer his lower nature and rise to higher consciousness and establish there. Many of us have wonderful experiences spiritually, occasionally that come once in a month, once in 2 months, something beautiful in a dream, something wonderful in a meditation, or sometimes we are sitting in front of the photographs of Mother and Sri Aurobindo and connect so deeply that tears fall from our eyes spontaneously. But these are a few experiences that we have, but much of the year is spent in the struggle against our nature. It is as if every battle has to be fought multiple times and every victory has to be again and again re-emphasized. This is the evolution of humankind, and these are the days of special descent when the divine force bends down to lift up the human to a higher level of consciousness and helps him stabilize there. What we accomplish through months of difficulty can happen spontaneously on a day of descent. That is why these darshan days are very special. January 1st is very special. I wish to share with you the experience of somebody. He got up this morning. He's a doctor in Hyderabad. He got up this morning after he had a dream. In that dream, he saw an elderly woman come and hug him, and next to him was a young girl. He had never seen this woman before, nor the girl. An hour or two later, this doctor receives a message from his patient saying, "Today is the birthday of the mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram. I am going there. I have a talk to give." And he decides to cancel his appointments and figure out what is the Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and he comes here. He sees the photograph of the mother and recognizes that here is the lady who had come in the dream and given him her darshan. The young girl next to her was the photograph of the mother when she was a little girl. This is how descents on darshan days are special. Here is somebody to whom there has been a spiritual calling to take up the path, to walk this path. Somebody who has never heard of Mother or Sri Aurobindo. This is when the divine comes down to hold our hand. Many of you have seen many seasons of our life. So many of you over 50, you've already seen much of life. The journey of integral yoga is the journey of paripurnatvam, perfection. We have to remember that we are, in a sense, divinity manifested on earth. That is the truth that Sanatana Dharma emphasizes. Amritasya putraha. Each of us is immortal. Then the natural question comes, if I am immortal, why don't I feel it? If I am immortal, I die after 80 years, why? If we are all Brahman, if we are all the divine, why are we all so different? And if everybody has a spark of God, why do people behave so wildly? How do people behave so differently? Even in spiritual organizations, it is so difficult to find harmony. Why are we all so different? We are all supposed to be divine. These are the questions that any intelligent person who has lived a few seasons of life should ask. If Gita is true and there is an Atman that cannot be destroyed, an Atman that cannot be wet, an Atman that cannot be burnt in fire, but I don't have it in my experience, am I wrong or is Gita wrong? We have to ask these questions. Otherwise, how are we intelligent people? We have to ask ourselves, isn't it? I request all of you to kindly put your mobile phones on silent or turn them off, please. Let's take a moment to do that. Please turn off the phone so that we don't disturb the others. So when we ask these questions, we have to get answers that are meaningful to us. We have to find answers that are meaningful to us. And these are the days when we can find these answers. Mother and Sri Aurobindo have given us a literature which tells us exactly how we should work on ourselves to find the soul, step by step. This is a detailed instruction that is so rare in the scriptures. You don't find it in many scriptures. I have read a few Upanishads. I cannot say I have read all because there are over 100 Upanishads. Some say even much more than that. I have read a few. Many places we don't see this detailed description of how a man is supposed to find his soul. Yes, they say Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. You keep doing all this, one day you will find your soul. That is the magic that is given. But when you look at the literature of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, they have given a very specific set of instructions how to find the soul. What they tell us is, again, they take many concepts from the existing Sanatana Dharma explanations which are based on occult truths, but they fill the gaps in a way that you and I can understand. There are many layers in our being. This is there in the Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad and other Upanishads. There is the body, there is the emotions, there is the mind. These are all the different layers of our being. What they explain is that this body and mind and emotions and all these peripheral aspects that we are aware of and that we identify ourselves as me, these are not your soul. These are the instruments of your soul. Your soul is behind them and it is guiding them. But there is a little bit of a problem. This body and mind and emotions, they are made up of the universal elements which are full of ignorance. Panchabhutas, we know, they are full of ignorance. Tamas, darkness, matter. Matter is inert. Jada padartha. We have donned that today as a robe. And therefore, to bring light into matter, you have to work on it. You have to work towards it. You should know that it is possible. Emotions. Similarly, many of our emotions are embedded into us right from the animal stage. The Neanderthal man survived because of adrenaline and fear. He couldn't sleep properly because any wild animal can pounce and eat. So right at that time, the adrenaline started pumping, and it continues even today. Even though the social matrix has changed, that our physical existence is not under threat, many times the fear or flight complex is embedded into us, that our emotional reactions are disproportionate to the circumstances we encounter in the 21st century civilization. But our reactions are still calibrated to the old man, that configuration. So now what do Mother and Sri Aurobindo say? Well, you are still carrying on the animal. You have to work on letting go of this animal. Similarly, when we come to the mind, mind is something that is a human capacity, but at a very primitive stage. Why at a primitive stage? Anybody with a basic assessment of the mind knows that thoughts occur in the mind, but most of the time I don't think consciously. I don't choose to think. Otherwise, if I had the capacity to choose to think, I should be silent 90% of the time. My mind should be silent 90% of the time, but it is not. We struggle and we fight even to keep 5 minutes of silence in our mind, a thoughtless state. So, Mother and Sri Aurobindo point out that these layers, which have a lot of accumulated junk that has come from various places, these layers need to be cleansed. The body should be made conscious. The emotions should be in some way purified, in some way cleansed. The mind needs to be examined rather than take it for granted that, oh, mind keeps on thinking, I can't do anything about it. No, you can do something about it. A silent mind is accessible to many of us with a little bit of what we call spiritual discipline, sadhana again. So these are the basic outlines they give us. Purification is the general term. When we eat, a certain sense of purification of how much I consume, what time I sleep. Is it sattvic, rajasic, tamasic? How am I culturing my food? How am I culturing my emotions? How am I culturing my mind? And all of these are tied to ego that is dominant and that is still a big player in all of this. So Sri Aurobindo and Mother say, start working on this purification and gradually recognize that the time of your ego is also past. The time of dominance of ego is past. What you have to do is gently step out of this ego. And it is a process of, first of all, self-consciousness and self-awareness. Many questions when people ask the mother, how do I have peace? Mother, how do I make spiritual progress? Mother, how do I gain silent mind? Her answer surprises many of us when we read these books, and I encourage all of you to do it also, is first thing she says when you want something, do you really want it? Initially when I saw it, I was very amused. I said, of course he wants it, that is why he's asking. But her question is not whether do you want it in the sense that when I wake up in the morning, I want to have a cup of tea, but if I don't get tea, I'll have coffee. If I want to have lunch, if I don't get dosa, I'll have idli. If you want it like that, it doesn't happen. Do you really want it? Manasa, vacha, karmana. Do you want it from the depth of your being? Is there a call that I am born, I am going to die, I want to find out who I am? How deep is that call? Is it one among your 20 avocations, or is it something that you are willing to commit yourself to? Then the journey of soul begins. Then the journey of the quest of soul begins. And this term that Mother uses, Sri Aurobindo uses, is called psychic being. And they say that the psychic being comes down, it takes on the body and grows with your experience. As you grow in your experience, the size of the psychic being changes, the presence of the psychic being changes. Now I use two words, a soul and a psychic being. There's a bit of a confusion, but we'll just clarify it and move on. If all of us are the soul, then all of us are divine. But the point is that spark of the divine is right now covered with the sand of the physical, vital, mental and all these things. What Sri Aurobindo and Mother say, the analogy I would prefer to give is like a magnet and a magnetic field, the lamp and the luster. There is the spark in everyone, but in many places the luster of the light is covered by the physical, vital and mental, the emotions, the thoughts, We have to clean it so that the luster comes out gradually. That is the psychic being. The psychic being grows life after life after life. It's like that magnetic field that is surrounded by sand. You clear the sand, gradually the magnetic field, you will sense it. And then it starts indicating to the physical, vital and mental, work like this, do like this is dharma, this is adharma, this is the right choice, this is the wrong choice. It starts telling us what to do. Then our physical, vital, mental become instruments of the soul. This is the journey of the psychic being. This is the journey of the soul. And as we begin our quest and we listen more and more to that voice that is guiding us, that becomes stronger, and then our journey towards Godward existence begins. This is our soul, this is our psychic being, this is how humanity is meant to evolve. If we take the position that, well, I am what I am, my habits are difficult to change, my emotions are difficult to change, my mind is difficult to control, which is what unfortunately many people do, then our spiritual progress will take longer period of time. What does that mean? After this life, we have another life, after another life, season 1, season 2, it will go on, the same characters keep appearing, karmic links are very strong, bound by the ego, bound by the desire, the same characters which you don't like now will keep reappearing, and this drama will continue. We have a choice. Either we cut down and try to make it happen now, or we say that no, my nature is too strong, I can't control my anger, I can't control my ego, I can't control my emotions, or we say, I am trying to control, but that person is triggering it, this person is triggering it, my boss is such a bad guy. No, none of those excuses can work. Everything outside is a reflection of what we are inside. That is what the spiritual truth is that Mother has told us. So we just have to accept that no, ये मेरा काम है और मुझे ही करना है. This is my work, I have to do it. If I don't do it now, I'll do it next life. The choice is mine. We have to awake to this situation. There is another beautiful thing in the path of integral yoga. Not only does the help from above come on the days of descent, there is a special help available, but Mother and Sri Aurobindo have said, I will do the yoga inside of you. What you cannot change, I will change for you. I will help you change. And I will help you walk the path towards spirituality and spiritual realizations. Some of you know, I have been offering sessions here for practically 2 decades now. I used to conduct classes for youngsters sitting right near where the photograph of Sri Aurobindo is on the floor for many years. And I had a young girl who had come to Hyderabad from Tirupati and some other places. There used to be, some young girls and boys who went. And one girl was particularly attached to chocolates. Her story was that when she was a little girl, her father used to bring chocolate every day he came back from the office. As the girl grew in size, the chocolate also grew in size. And unfortunately, by the time she came to her, she was around 22, 23, by which time, because of all those chocolates and her strong attachment to it, she was a little overweight, and at that age, girls are particularly sensitive. And then she was, uncle, I have this big attachment. I said, offer it to the mother. What do you mean offer it to the mother? We just sit in front of the mother and say, Mother, I am not able to change this difficulty, you change this difficulty. This is what we call offering to the mother. That's all I have to do. That's all you have to do. And she kept offering it to the mother, and lo and behold, within a few months, she outgrew naturally, spontaneously, without a struggle, her lifelong difficulty. There are many such recorded experiences of how to work on purification of our nature. Take up the difficulty, expose it to the psychic light, add the aspiration that you want to overcome it, and offer it to the mother repeatedly, again and again and again, and gradually she helps us get out of the difficulty. That is the path of integral yoga, where the gurus come down, hold us, and lift us up out of the difficulty that we are. The psychic being is located around the center of our heart, deep inside, in a different dimension, but mota in that area. Now, my brother-in-law is a surgeon. He is a spine surgeon, and he assures me the chakras don't exist in the spine. Now, this is why Mother says these are in a different dimension. Like, for example, if I told you, what dimension do thoughts exist, if I asked you? Do thoughts exist in the three-dimensional space that we live in? Length, breadth, height of a thought possible? Color of a thought possible? No, that's a different dimension. But we all know thoughts exist. I don't have to convince you that you have thoughts. Right? So, psychic being also exists in a different dimension. All we have to do is concentrate in the heart. Go deeper and deeper and deeper, day after day after day. Intensify the consciousness there. Bring your awareness to the heart region. Go deeper and deeper and deeper. Gradually, there will be a certain experience or certain feeling of going deep inside. If everyone feels it over a period of time. Sometimes it can feel a little dark, sometimes it can feel a little difficult, but it is possible to go through. It is not that uncommon for many people to go deeper in consciousness. The journey from the outer emotions, physical and mental, to the psychic being is a process. The first phase of that process is, as you go through this journey, you will begin to experience a certain gradual slowing down of thoughts and certain silence inside of yourself. Many people have it very regularly, even if they meditate for 15-20 minutes. Just become familiar with it and carry that peace throughout the day, carry that calmness throughout the day. One of the things that is emphasized in this path is what you experience, the deepest experience of the meditation should gradually become who you are in your day-to-day life. It will not do if you say, I experienced a lot of peace, but because of my daughter-in-law, I end up being irritated. No, that doesn't work like that. Or because of my mother-in-law, whoever it is. It doesn't work like that. That peace has to translate into this equation being suffused with peace. Whether it is the boss, whether it is the co-worker, whatever the example is. This is the first phase of the journey towards psychic being, where a certain silence of the mind, a certain quietening of the heart, emotions, a certain general demeanor of peace should become possible, so much so that when you speak on the phone, the other person will feel the vibrations of peace in your tone. This change has to happen. This evolution has to happen. This phase, Sri Aurobindo and Mother give the term inner being to this. It's not a phase, it's actually a state of consciousness. Sometimes you yourself know, you call somebody when they have come out of meditation, their voice is very different. The vibrations are very different. And immediately people say, am I calling at the wrong time? You say, no, it's okay, we can speak. So there is a certain ठहराव, जो कहते हैं ना, एक ठहराव रहती है, एक peace रहती है, एक शांति रहती है, एक softness रहती है, एक gentleness रहती है. All this comes into our inner being, and from the inner being, it should extend to our outer being gradually. This is the first phase of the journey. In this phase, sometimes when you go deeper, you may see darkness, you may feel like you're falling off, you may feel like you're going through some dungeon. The reason for that is because we have not yet gone and enlivened consciousness in these regions yet. That is why they are dark. Don't worry about it. Gradually, you will become familiar with it. In fact, as we explore our inner being, it is as fascinating or more fascinating than traveling to different countries. One feels resistance in certain parts of our being. One feels the aura where thoughts are normally strong, which extends normally from about 2 inches above the head to around the throat region. That is the arena of thought. Sometimes you feel that sensation. Sometimes you feel different sensations at the back of the body compared to the front of the body. Sometimes you feel it is dense at the back of the body and it is easy to traverse the front of the body. Sometimes the awareness is wide around the head region, but it narrows as you go towards the navel region. That means you are becoming aware of your subtle body. The consciousness is wider in the upper parts over a period of time and narrower at the lower parts. We have to develop our awareness of all of this. After all, we are not only the physical. This is all the tips of sadhana of spirituality. In fact, psychic being comes later. This is common for all paths, if you ask me, and this is the spiritual journey that we all need to go through. Sometimes you feel a sense of cold feeling that is permeating or radiating from the heart. Sometimes warm feeling. Sometimes the descent, Sri Aurobindo says, can feel like a block of peace has descended upon you. And it is not like, somebody in Pondicherry may have that experience. In Hyderabad, we people are grihasthas. There are grihasthas like you and me who are coming and sharing these experiences with us. They are feeling the descent of peace. They are feeling the descent of light. So these are not dependent on our capacity. Yoga is not dependent on our capacity, for if it were, we would remain like this forever. It is the grace that comes down and walks with us and helps us. So spiritual development is about becoming aware of our inner being, understanding our inner consciousness, feeling the peace continuously, and in disturbed times our reactions being controlled. Even in difficult times, trying to keep the regularity of meditations and swadhyaya and these disciplines allow us to receive that peace on a daily basis. This kind of works like homeopathy medicine. Small doses every day. People get irritated. Oh, do I have to take it 3 times a day? Do I have to take it 4 times a day? Do I have to do it before lunch? Do I have to do it after lunch? But that is how spiritual energies also work. They come slowly. They infuse the light into us. They infuse it, and gradually that area where we were getting anger more and more, this peace goes and starts dissolving that anger. We won't even know it till suddenly 3 months later a situation comes where normally we react very angrily, but that day we react very optimally. And then you say, what happened? Why did I change? When did I change? How did I change? It happens. The attachment that was binding us in one phase of life, after some times you feel a loosening of that attachment spontaneously. Why? Because you have been regular in your sadhana. Because every day a little drop of that light is coming and dissolving these obstructions inside of us. What can our routine be? It can be meditation. In fact, I would recommend 2 very strongly: meditation and reading. Every day, meditation and reading. Reading connects us to the consciousness of the spiritual force behind the works. Mother's works, Sri Aurobindo's works. And many people have the fallacy that Sri Aurobindo is difficult to understand. He is not. I would like you to permanently jettison such ideas. You just have to pick up the right book. Sri Aurobindo is very easy to understand. Letters on Yoga start with volume 2. Basis of Yoga is a good introduction to integral yoga. Essays on the Gita. Many people know Bhagavad Gita. It's very easy to understand. Essays on the Gita. There are a lot of books available. Mother's question and answers. Words of the Mother. If do this every day a little bit. Aside from that, one can do japa, one can open oneself to nature, one can try to gradually participate in satsangs where more spiritual discussions are happening and learn more of what is to be done in the path of integral yoga. So these are all the ways, if we can systematize and regularize, gradually our inner being solidifies. Now what we do is our outer nature slightly begins to resemble the inner nature. Then the next phase of the journey starts, which is actually moving towards the soul. Here, as we do deeper meditations, Mother says, there is a fire that is burning in the center of the heart. Go deep inside. Offer all your obstacles and difficulties into the fire. Let the fire use that as ahuti for burning brightly. Gradually the fire gains strength. It is the inner presence of the divinity. Be there, remain there, and let the rays of light that emanate from the heart penetrate the outer nature. So we are now looking at a process that is reversing. So far we went in, and now the brightness of that light is illuminating the inner being and gradually the outer being. Elsewhere, a devotee has written, Mother, where are you? I am going through a lot of distance from you, even though he is staying in the ashram. Please help me find you. She says, look deep into your heart. I am already there. Her presence is very much there. There are guided meditations that we do, and there are meditations that you can do yourself. Go deep into the heart and visualize an image of the Mother. Visualize your favorite photograph of the Mother there, visualize her presence there, and feel the vibration of the presence of the Mother. And let that vibration stabilize. It should not be a passing thought. Soak in that vibration, go deeper and deeper, feel that vibration, and then let that vibration spread to all the parts of the being. Radiate from the heart and extend to all the parts of the being. Gradually, what happens when we do this is the psychic light gradually emerges through our being. There are psychic qualities that Mother talks about. In the outer nature, as a part of culturing it in the psychic color, we develop consciously the attributes of the psychic being. Aspiration, continuously work on aspiring for spiritual evolution. Peace, we already spoke about it. Mother goes to the extent of saying, push peace into the very cells of your body. Gratitude, having a very detailed exercise of gratitude, remembering different phases of our life and all the people who helped us in different phases of our life, and remembering them with gratitude, and looking around us and working on developing an attitude that is suffused with gratitude. There is an exercise a friend of mine recently told me that I will share with you. Write the list of 5 people to whom you are grateful on a piece of paper. And then extend the list to 10 people. And then extend it to 15 and 20. She says, we realize how narrow-minded we are when we try to expand the list. Because 5, very easy, mommy, daddy, wife, husband, we like all that. Beyond that, okay, maybe this professor, that lecturer. But after 10, who are you grateful for? When we start working, we find that we have a lot of critical attitude towards everybody in life. Gratitude is not to be found inside of our body. Whereas a spiritual seeker, there used to be one Swami Madhavashish in Uttaranchal, Almora ashram, where He was a Swamiji, their senior Swamiji, and yet one lady who used to scold him always for no small things. Somebody asked him, "You are the senior Swamiji, this lady is scolding you, why are you taking it?" He said, "It is an excellent opportunity for me to work on my ego." So this is how a spiritual seeker should look, and this is how a normal man should. When somebody says something harsh, it's an opportunity to reduce our ego. That is the way. You should be grateful to that person, isn't it? They're helping us in spiritual progress. Somebody pinches you, says something. It is a good opportunity to examine how much have I overcome my irritation and ego. Gratitude, generosity. The idea that we should be generous. I did an exercise once with a group that I was conducting a workshop in Pondicherry. I said, among all of you, please raise the hands, whoever you think you are a stingy person. Nobody raised their hands in the room. Nobody. So I had a room of perfect people. Then I said, if you happen to know somebody who is stingy, please raise your hand. The entire group raised their hands. So this is our assessment of ourselves. We think we are perfect, and we all know other people who are imperfect. Unfortunately, that should not be the rule for spiritual people. It should actually be the other way around. We should be very severe to ourselves and very generous and forgiving to others. That is a spiritual person. So we have a long way to go, and generosity means expressing that thought of gratefulness to that person irrespective of everything else that he is. Otherwise it's not generosity, it is judgment. And a soul that is awakening and walking on the path of spirituality should have generosity pouring out from them at every moment. At every moment. You know, Sri Rama went and defeated Ravana, killed Ravana, Kumbhakarna, all these people, glory to him. He won a kingdom back, he has come to Ayodhya, he is being coronated. What does he do? He gives, call that boatman who crossed Sarayu that day with me. That is the Lakshana of a Sattvic person. He remembers and has that gratitude. Joyfulness. Satchit Ananda Swarupa. We are all supposed to be Satchidananda Swarupa. Question is, where is that Ananda? I don't feel it. We are Satchidananda, but where is that Ananda? I don't feel it. Sri Anand Reddy ji, who is again a scholar in this matters, he says that Ananda is the psychic quality that comes from deep inside of you. How do we let it come out? That Ananda cannot come if I am an irritable fellow throughout the day. You see the contradiction. If I am, you are not doing this right, how can Ananda come? I can never. That Ananda comes if we cultivate a joyful attitude in our life. See the bright in people, overlook the small things continuously. We have to train ourselves. These are not, Upanishads and Gita are not retirement projects. These projects are all to be examined today. Sri Aurobindo told 20-year-old children, 20 years of age, he is saying, go read Upanishads, go read Bhagavad Gita. For the youth, I tell them, when do you use Google Maps, at the beginning of the journey or at the end of the journey? Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads are to be read now. Not when all the teeth have come out and all the hair has fallen off and I am having a stick in my hand, now I will read Bhagavad Gita. What is the use? The whole damage is done throughout the life. So we have to, wherever we are, we have to practice these things. These are all virtues of the Mother. The Mother has given us so many, around 20 of them. She gives us all these list of things that you cultivate these things in the outer nature, gradually go deeper in your meditations into your inner nature, slowly the psychic being will emerge. In my younger age also, I remember lantern undedi. Current poyinappudu lantern pettukunevallam mem. Lantern. These days you don't use it. This generation doesn't know. We have battery packs which come out when power goes off. That lantern used to have a lamp, a light in the middle with a wick and a glass surrounding it. Now after some time what happens? The glass becomes full of soot, a black soot. Then we would open it and clean it. So this is our outer nature, that is our psychic being. We have to keep on cleaning this suit. It may say, but yeah, these are all good habits, bad habits. My father told me when I was, that doesn't matter what your father told you. Every time we have to learn again and again. One of the fallacies we have when we come to spiritual path is, when we hear something a second time, a third time, we say, no, I know it. Aspiration, rejection, surrender. Oh, no, I know it. Familiarity with vocabulary does not mean spiritual realization. Familiarity with vocabulary is mental construction. Spiritual realization is changing the cells of the body to that truth and that light. And that is a journey that spans decades. Wherever we are, we can start. The mother said, if you want it with intensity, if all of your being says, I want to have soul realization in this life, and you orient your entire life towards it, it can be done within 3 months. Within 3 months. It's just something we have to turn our attention towards, work towards, and start moving in that direction. I would encourage all of you to take up this topic of psychic being and study it. There are small books, there are big books, doesn't matter, there are many books that are available. But the idea is just pick up something, read it again and again. Every 3 months read it once. Small book is there, 100 pages, 200 pages. Finish it off, again read it, make notes, again read it, make notes. The topic of psychic being is the most important in any spiritual path. All spiritual paths are about self-realization. Until our temperament changes to that of the soul, we have to keep working on it. So with that, let us close our eyes and invoke the blessings of Mother and Sri Aurobindo to help us in this journey of realization of the psychic being. Let us be quiet for a couple of minutes with this aspiration.